Aladdin was a good movie. I really enjoyed Aladdin.
Is there ever a reason to watch it over the cartoon?
No. There isn't. Okay.
Last week on the show, we finished talking about our top 5 games of the last decade, where we initially had 3 individual lists between all 3 hosts, but then afterwards, we had the task of, can we boil it down to just 5 games? So we feel like after that, it's time to just... Yeah, we did it, man. We survived. It's like naturally, yes. I feel like we kind of just got to like relax for a little bit and just sort of catch up, because it's not all about video games. And in the last decade, we've actually enjoyed a couple of things in the last month or so. So this is the Off the Rails edition of A Cast of the Past, with a brand new episode each and every Sunday with yours truly, Juan Velas from Puerto Rico. We also have lovely, beautiful, sexy Keith Hamilton from London, Ontario. Keith,
this is my sexy face.
I was hoping that was my intro, but
oh my goodness, Ryan, you wish. But Keith, how you doing, man?
I'm good. Really relaxed. Worked from home today.
Ooh.
Whoa.
It was a good day.
Good stuff. And then
I got my water here.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep cutting you off as you try to introduce Ryan. Yeah. What else do I got here?
Ryan's on the show too. Ryan's from Boston.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
I'm from Boston,
this.
I'm also here.
So, the Oscars happened over a week ago. Damn it, Keith! I know this is off the rails, but don't take it too literally, man.
Going off,
Oscars
baby.
happened over a week ago. Admittedly, I watch a lot more series than movies, so it's like I'm not the person to talk about the fact whether a film got snubbed or not. I don't think any of the 3 of us are, but the one thing we got to talk about, freaking Eminem, man. What?
Yeah.
Well, I don't really care about that, but go ahead, Keith.
Came out of nowhere. I was folding laundry upstairs, and then I start hearing the burn, like, wait a minute, what?
Did Alexa turn it on?
Yeah, I don't even get that joke, but sure, that's what Alexa did.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, there's Eminem randomly at the Oscars. Not at the Grammys, at the Oscars. It was a very, very weird moment that I still don't understand as I'm talking about it. It was awesome. It was awesome from like the, of course.
Was it just a throwback to when that song won? I think it won an Oscar, right, for 8 Mile?
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, but when 8 Mile came out in 2002, wasn't it though?
It was like 2002, 2003. My favorite thing about it is they cut to the audience, and you just saw them like banging their heads. They're like, "Oh yeah, everybody's in the mood."
It wasn't just
Everybody's
banging their
feeling it.
heads. It was a very distinct age gap of there was people either like, "What the hell is going on?" or they were
Martin
just banging their head
Scorsese.
to it.
Yeah. So Ryan, now that we've talked about Eminem, just give us your reactions. 1917. That's a movie that I've not watched, and people are saying that it's one of the best films without question. I haven't watched Parasite either, but can you talk to us a little bit about the first movie and what you thought about it?
Yeah, so nominated for Best Picture. I think it picked up a couple of awards, 1917. So it won for visual effects and Best Cinematography as well as sound mixing. So 1917 is a World War I movie, right? We've gotten plenty of World War II movies, but yeah, I just saw this a couple weeks ago and I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. Now, the aspect of this movie that I really appreciate, and it's kind of its one gimmick, but it does it so well, and I was so enthralled with the movie, and I'm not a big war movie guy either, but essentially this movie is made to look like it was done in one take. So there, of course they use tricks to do that because it would be an impossible task to try and film an entire 2-hour plus movie in one take. So, if it goes behind a rock
Talk
or
about
something,
the file size, my God.
If the camera pans behind a rock or a building, that's probably where they smoothly did a new take. But you are following 2 soldiers who are on a mission of basically having to deliver this message to another, group within the British Army to, deliver a message that the battle that they're going to go into is basically a trap and that they shouldn't do it. So where they have to go is only a couple hours away. So the whole movie is essentially in real time. as you're walking
Wow.
with these soldiers, time passes, they don't jump time really. You're basically in the complete point of view of these two characters. And it really gives you a first-hand perspective of what, just the gruesomeness of war, because it's not even really about, there's all these battle scenes and everything. It's more about seeing the aftermath of these battles, because a lot of the areas that they're trekking through are post-battle, and you see how disgusting and like terrible and just how tragic these scenarios look like. So it's just an incredible movie. I definitely recommend you guys check it out, if nothing else but to just see how they pulled off the technical aspect of doing this
great.
movie.
I love how that's slowly becoming a trend in media, the whole one take style, because first it was in video games, it was God of War last year really touted the fact that the game looks like it's just done in one seamless
I was going to say a show I talked to you guys about, Mr. Robot, which you guys need to watch that show. It's done now. 4 seasons, complete show.
It's on my list.
Satisfying ending. They have an episode in season 3 that is actually done to look like it was made in one take.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yes.
That's cool.
That used to be a big thing with fight scenes, like right before the big deal. I want to say mid 2000s was
the movie Old Boy. If you watch
yep.
the original one, not the American version, there's a whole fight scene that's made to look like it's one take. It takes it to another element, because it makes it feel more real for some reason.
That's very true, and at least for me, I'm very interested in watching the movie. Admittedly, I've just kind of fallen off, just keeping up with recent films, because I like to watch them at home. Like my wife and I bought a new home in December, so now that we have like a comfy area where we can turn on the AC and watch movies, I'm like, man, why the hell do I want to go to the theater? I'll wait for it on Blu-ray or rent it online or something.
That's sweet popcorn. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I got free popcorn at home. Like, I can just make any snack that I want here.
And I will quickly talk about, because I did see what ended up winning Best Picture, which was Parasite. Was, I thought, a very good movie. So it's a foreign film. It's in Korean, and it has, obviously it's subtitles, but it's still a very interesting movie. Funnily enough, when my girlfriend told me about it, I thought it was like a horror movie. So just because of the name, you would think based on the name, it sounds like it's a horror movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So when I was watching the movie, I'm waiting for the zombie outbreak to happen. And it never happens.
You're like, so much story.
Yeah, because at one point there is like this drunk guy, and like they're trying to like get him off the street or whatever, and I'm like, oh man, that's patient zero. Like, it's gonna happen.
So what's the premise of this movie?
So the premise of the movie is essentially there's a family that they live in like the way lower area of the city, and they're basically just in this crappy little like basically underground apartment, and their lives suck and they're poor basically. And one of the sons, basically his buddy hooks him up with this gig to teach one of the like this rich family's daughters English. And basically this kid ends up exploiting this rich family to basically get his entire family to make money off of this rich family. So that's why it's called Parasite. Basically,
okay.
They're like kind of conning this rich family to make money off of them. And it's very interesting, and it's a whole commentary on just like class warfare. But it's a very unique movie that I thought was really interesting and has really great cinematography. And like, it's definitely something I think most people enjoy, and kind of goes batshit crazy at the end. So definitely worth seeing.
I think these are the type of movies that I love to watch, and it's a big freaking deal because it won international movie and just like overall movie.
Yeah, won
right?
Best Foreign Film and Best Picture, which is something I think that never happens.
Yeah,
like,
no,
normally,
first time.
Yeah, normally when you have this really great foreign movie that gets mainstream mainstream appeal in the US, basically they'll get the consolation prize of winning best foreign film, and they're like, oh well, we gave it that so it doesn't win best picture. So it's nice to see that a movie kind of broke through that barrier, because usually I think foreign films are at a disadvantage because they can give it the consolation prize basically.
Yeah, but these two movies sound like they're right up my alley, even though I'd say nowadays, I don't know about you guys, I tend to watch more comedy stuff. Like my wife and I just finished watching, we're halfway through the 7th season of The Office, which I'm not going to spoil what's really happening, but anybody that's watched, you get an idea, right?
Everyone knows by now.
Yeah, they have an idea, but
not everyone. I still don't know how that series ends.
Well, you guys are like 10 years behind.
Yeah, but there's this renaissance. Like The Office in 2019, 2020, it's like more relevant than possibly ever before.
There's a crisis though when it leaves Netflix. Right? Isn't that happening?
Yeah.
I think that's where that renaissance comes from,
yeah.
where everybody's trying to get it in before it leaves Netflix.
Yeah, but something else that I have been doing, talking about Netflix, is watching The Witcher. Now, I mentioned that I like comedy shows and films, so this isn't something that my wife and I are binging, even though it's like 8 episodes or something, but it's something like every week we watch one episode because they're so dense, right? And they're pretty lengthy. Like every now and then I'm like, man, the episode's still going and it's great, like the production value. I know, Ryan, you've talked about it on a previous episode, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but I love characters that are dry, right? Like Gerald. He's dry but funny within that. And I think that's the best combination. Another really good example, although he's more obvious with that, is the series Lucifer, right? That's a series that I've watched with my wife a couple of episodes, and it's just the charming personality which leads to both of them many sexual encounters. I think that's the common denominator.
I saw one episode of that, and I'm like, this guy pisses me off. I don't like this show.
No, but it's really good. Both of them are worth checking out. I got to go back to watching Lucifer, but Keith, actually, you've been playing Witcher 3? You went back to it?
I have. All this hype around the Witcher series. I canceled my Netflix subscription in favor of Disney Plus, so I haven't checked out the Witcher series yet, but just everybody excited about the Witcher made me go back and play the Witcher 3. I had played it on PC originally, and it kind of was like a perfect storm of, and I'm sure this was 100% intentional, that when all of the hype for the Witcher was in like maximum mode, the Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition was on sale for the PS4.
Oh, yeah. No coincidence.
No coincidence whatsoever. It was just dumb luck there. So I went back and started replaying The Witcher 3 from the very beginning. I never checked out the expansions for The Witcher 3. Blood and Wine and Sword of Stone, I think it's called. So I want to get through the main game and then check out those expansions. It's just last week I talked about Mass Effect 2 and how it's an incredible feat in storytelling. The Witcher's just really up there. Just how they managed to just fit so much great writing into that game, especially when it comes to the main quest lines and how intricate they make the stories. It's very much like a Yakuza level of intricacy with some of the main plot lines in the game, and I've really enjoyed my time going back and playing it. Eventually I'll check out the series.
So Keith, I wanted to ask you because I tried to get into The Witcher 2. It was gifted to me, and I tried the first one, and I was a fan of everything except the fighting mechanics. Now, I feel like a lot of people are watching The Witcher on Netflix, as you mentioned, and they're like, "Oh wow, I want to play The Witcher. What's the latest one?" Because even on the Switch, The Witcher 3 is out. So, on the gameplay, the fighting mechanics, can you describe that for somebody that hasn't played it, just to get a feel of it?
Well, the short answer is play it on easy, because that's the way to go about it. But it is a very methodic approach to action, where you have basically two types of characters, or two types where you have your humans and you have your creatures, and the Witcher has 2 swords. So for the humans you need to use your steel sword, for the creatures you need to use your silver sword. That's kind of like the base of it, and you spend most of the time trying to remember, oh crap, which sword do I have out right now. Eventually you get better at it. No, I'm not back at that point, but on top of that, then that's kind of where the RPG elements come into it, where you can decide to spec out your character. Well, the Witcher can use spells, so do you want to be spell heavy? Do you want to be able to melt armor with fire, or do you want to be able to mind control characters and have them fight for you, or do you want to be more alchemy based and be able to set up traps, or coat your blades with poison so they do special effects or do extra damage with that stuff? And you just have to... The Witcher, if you decide to play it on a higher difficulty than easy, because if you play it on easy, you can just go in and go slap happy on everything, but it's a game where you can't just go face first into combat and expect to survive. You really need to plot out your moves and think about how you're going to approach the situation. Like, Geralt is very much a hunter, and they make you approach the game like a hunter, where, okay, here's this camp where these bandits are. I can kind of get the sneak up on them and lure them into this like slowing spell that I put on the ground, and before they realize what's happening, I can have their heads off. And then just kind of that's the way that you want to approach the puzzle of combat. And then then you just go through that a million times, and then you've beaten The Witcher 3.
Yeah, Ryan, does that sound enticing? Does that sound exciting for you?
I do want to play The Witcher 3. I'm trying to pick up a Xbox and or PS4 very soon, and that is on my list of games to play.
It is coming to Game Pass very, very soon.
Oh,
all right.
Well, yep. I think I'll be getting it no matter what, regardless. So
I will say, though, all jokes aside, you should if you're picking up The Witcher 3 for the first time, try it on normal. If you hate it, don't be afraid to bump it down to easy. What. Yeah, and then just don't feel like you're copping out by bumping it down to easy.
Yeah, I gave up on that battle a long time ago. Like, growing up, I was all like, oh, it's all about that difficulty, right? You got to have games be really difficult. But honestly, I just hate dying in games, and I feel like any game that focuses so much on, well, you died, so now you got to try it again. That's just not fun for me. So just looking at some of the gameplay that I've seen online, and just the fact that it's even on the Switch, right? The fact that it's portable there, although
and that's still crazy to me.
Yeah, it visually doesn't have... Ryan, have you seen the Switch version of it?
I've seen the graphics. Obviously, they scaled them down, but everything I've read is it's the full game. It's not going to look as pretty, but if you need a full game on the go, it is an available option.
Yeah. It's a feat in itself that you can play The Witcher on a handheld device.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah, that's very true. So something that I've taken a random challenge that nobody forced me to do this, but I actually got a couple of Call of Duty games from a supporter on my YouTube channel. He literally asked me, hey, do you have like some Call of Duty games on PS3? He sent me like 10 Call of Duty games. And that to me was awesome, because I don't know about you guys, but I have always loved the story modes of the Call of Duty games, like from the very first one. So right now, I'm replaying the story mode for Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, because you can't just say Modern Warfare now, because there's the
now
new,
there's a Call of Duty Modern Warfare,
which is stupid. But I'm doing like the slow goal of slowly replaying chronologically of the story mode based games, like the game mode. So I'm playing this one. And then
by chronologically, you mean of the date released, right?
Yeah,
like you're not going
not like
Call of Duty World War II, and then
You can go like Black Ops 2.
Yeah, like I'm gonna skip World at War just because I played that again like 2 years ago and I beat the story mode. So I'm like, I'm good on that one.
God, that World of War one is so good.
Yeah, I loved it. I didn't play World War II because it continues to get confusing. There's World at War and World War II, right? There's those two Call of Duty games.
Yeah, I'm trying to think exactly when I fell off. I think I fell off around Call of Duty Ghosts, when it
I
comes
think a lot
to
of people did.
Well, yeah, because I definitely played all 3 Modern Warfare games. Black Ops.
This is the only
Yeah.
one I ever owned, is Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Well, you
And
picked a good one.
I've never
Yeah.
been a big FPS guy. I got a little bit of enjoyment out of this, but I'm not the FPS guy, especially, and I'm particularly bad on console as well.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask you something. So for the podcast, we have a set amount of games that we are going to play throughout the year. We've been talking about that, right? But we're talking about Call of Duty, The Witcher now. Is there anything else, whether we talk about it on the show or not, that you're kind of like, well, there's a movie tie-in, there's a Netflix show, there's a sequel, like, you have the Final Fantasy VII remake. So I'm not saying that you play the original one, but maybe it scratches the itch to play a Final Fantasy game either for the first time or going back to one. Is there any other game that you're kind of like, man, I kind of want to go back and check that out for a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm thinking tie-in wise, not really. Like
Sonic the Hedgehog.
no, oh god,
I mean, we could
I
do
don't
that.
want to see it. I don't want to. No,
I played Sonic Lost World on Wii U, and it's beautiful. Apparently, I didn't know how to play it because I didn't figure out a couple of the gameplay mechanics, but just I don't know if the Sonic games were ever good for me. And I just don't know if it just
Adventure
didn't click.
2, I did enjoy, aside from the searching for the diamonds stuff.
So a
But-
third of that game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good portion of it. I played
Yeah.
that in the first one on the Dreamcast.
I mean, there are a couple obvious ones of tie-ins that we'll probably check out in this year. Stay tuned for that. But
Hold on. Sorry to interrupt, but did you
Okay.
guys know that a Uncharted movie is supposed to come out this year?
that movie's supposed to come out
What?
for the last 25 years.
But
Yeah.
with Tom Holland connected
No, it's
to
gone
it?
through like 5 or
Yeah,
6
at one
directors.
point,
Yeah, no,
something
I
Mark
remember-
stupid.
Wahlberg was in that movie.
Yeah, no, I remember at one point. Yeah, this is from July 6, 2019, so I have no idea if that's still a thing.
Yeah,
It's apparently
that's
still in progress, but the last director they had dropped off.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because I think those games.
Now it says 2021.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. That's going to be something that's going to end up getting canceled.
The story is
Yeah.
a prequel of the game starring Holland as a younger Drake. Why would they start with that? That's
why did they change the Silent Hill story in the Silent Hill
I know,
movie?
they just
Ryan.
they can't. Nobody wants to see. Like, I get it. Uncharted 3, they had like the flashbacks of a young Nathan Drake, but why start with the stuff people want? Give the people what they want.
Actually, Keith, you just brought up the closing topic of this episode. Ryan, have you heard of the rumors that this company called Konami? Have you heard about this company? They are apparently, supposedly exploring possibilities of new Silent Hill games with an S.
Really?
Yeah, so they've been exploring the possibility of nothing is for certain, but they're thinking about different types of video games. So more so than just like a new sequel and another one.
AKA, they're going to be making Konami or Silent Hill pachinko machines because that's all what
yeah,
Konami
That
does
probably
these
exists
days.
already.
Oh no, they do exist. They will not probably, but yeah, they've been making a lot of like slot machines and stuff with Silent Hill. No lie, they've been doing that for that's all the Silent Hill stuff that's come out in the last like 4 years has been that. I'll play it, I'll try it out, but let's be real. The Silent Hill games have never, like, since Team Silent has disbanded, who made the first 3, none of the succeeding games have really
Are they
lived
really
up.
called
Actually, they made
Team
the first
Silent?
4. They were called Team Silent, and they made the
Oh
first
my
4 games, I should say.
Teamwork must have been hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no
si-
kidding.
After the 4th one, it's never quite captured the same magic. Like, there's been games that have just followed the formula, but just don't have the same like oomph to them, the same magic as the first 4. And even the 4th one's a little shaky. I know our people on our Discord was I forget specifically who. It might have been Meatwad, but they have really defended Silent Hill 4. But it's all right.
I understand where you're coming from with that, and I don't think you're wrong about any of those games, but kind of, I guess, to play devil's advocate a little bit, you have to remember that the most recent foray into Silent Hill was PT. Even though it was never like officially a Silent Hill game, hey, it was a Silent Hill game. So if that's what the route that they're looking into, and hey, and I will be the first person to say, set your expectations low with this one, folks, but if they're looking to hit that level with something Silent Hill, it could be something really special.
That is very true. I think the fact that PT came out was very smart. And, we talked about this in the previous episode, like best games of the last decade. A lot of people made the argument for PT despite the fact that it's a demo.
It's a demo, yeah. I mean, it was that like innovative and interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I will be open to the idea. I'm just pointing out that a lot of people have tried to capture that same magic and have not really quite gotten there. But hey, I'm definitely open to some game trying to a similar style.
Yeah, so everybody watching and listening, please let us know whether you're excited about something that's going to be coming out this year that's focused on an older IP, a video
I didn't
game
get to
or a
say
movie.
my piece. You can't end this yet. You can't end this
Oh,
yet.
no. Okay, people.
I have
Keith
I have
needs
to
the
go
floor.
on public record. Yes, I need to go on public record about something. So if you go back into the archives, there's an episode where we talk about the live-action Disney movies of last year, specifically Aladdin and The Lion King. On that episode, I may or may not have just poo-pooed all over those movies, saying that, no, I'm not interested in it, the live-action thing seems dumb, I want nothing to do with it. Well, over the last little bit, I did have something to do with it. I finally sat down and watched Aladdin and The Lion King. And I was wrong. I feel like it takes a big man to say they're wrong. I was wrong.
Well, I think you're
Aladdin's
still wrong, but continue here. Continue
Yeah, it's
your
like,
spiel.
well, Keith, when you say
Aladdin-
you're wrong, is it like it was okay?
No, like Aladdin was a good movie. I really enjoyed Aladdin.
Is
it
there
better?
ever a reason to? Is there ever a reason to watch it over the cartoon?
No. There
Then-
isn't.
okay.
I
We can
rest
agree
my
on
case.
that. I'm good.
I
But
rest
would
my
say,
case.
I would say like the original cartoon's like a 9, and this Aladdin's an 8.5.
Ooh, no.
Ooh,
I-
man. That
I-
hurt me.
I really enjoyed it. I think that Will Smith did a phenomenal job trying
yeah.
to go in Robin Williams' footsteps, and it really does a lot for that movie. Now, is there some things that were lost in the live action of it? Absolutely. I think Jafar kind of comes off like a little bit of a punk bitch
He
in
sucked.
this movie. But for what they did and taking Aladdin and turning it into this live action thing, I think they actually did a really good job, and I will happily admit that I was wrong, that it is 100% worth your time. And same thing with The Lion King. Yes, Aladdin is worth your time.
It's
100%.
an uninspired cash grab, is what
That's
I
cute.
would say.
I think you're so wrong.
Like, is it watchable? Absolutely. But like I said, if there's
but
no
calling
reason
it
to
an
ever watch it,
uninspired cash grab? No, it's way more than that. If
What?
Okay,
it was
let's
basically
hear you
okay.
out.
Inspired
Let's
cash grab.
Yeah.
let's just have
I can get behind that.
boring sets and weird slow motion effects, and then we'll put in one extra song to make Disney look more woke, and that was about it.
Yeah, I think that what's interesting is that we know for a fact more live action movies are going to be coming out based on films. I think Lilo and Stitch and other stuff are going to happen.
What?
So
Seriously, Mulan,
Yeah.
I'm very curious about. They
Yeah,
have a chance to
Mulan-
do something interesting with Mulan.
yeah, it seems
Apparently
like they're
taking out
definitely taking a
Mushu from
different
that
tone,
movie,
which is smart.
and I want to know how that goes.
Yeah, so a lot of questions here to finish off the episode. Once again, let us know what are you interested in this year that is tailor made or based on the past, whether it be a remake,
Sonic.
remaster,
Ugh.
Sonic movie.
Sonic.
By the time this episode comes out, we will have watched the movie, but we're recording it just before it.
Yeah,
so that's going to
speak
be
for yourselves. I know I just went on this whole rant about not wanting to watch movies and thinking that they're garbage immediately, but Sonic falls in that category also.
Ryan, December 2020. We got to do an episode where Keith is going to talk about 5 reasons why the Sonic the Hedgehog movie is one of the best films of 2020.
Okay.
It's going to
I
happen.
think it's going to be great.
Yeah, but people, if you like what we do, please consider leaving a 5-star review, whether it be on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Facebook, any of that stuff. You can join the conversation on our Discord channel. That is acasttothepast.com/Discord. Also, we've recently upgraded our video version of the podcast. So we do a lot more stuff where you can check out gameplay trailers, footage of things that we're actively talking about. So that way, if you simply want to get a visual experience in addition to the audio format, you can get that. But if you're on the road and you don't want to listen, you don't want to watch Keith's face, Ryan's face makes you puke, that's okay too.
Oh.
You can check us out on the road. It's going to be okay, right, Ryan?
I guess it's going to be okay. Not after that. Jeez.
You can cry after.
I'm
man.
hurt for him.
You're cute, Ryan. Have I ever told you that?
No. I'm ending this show on my terms, okay? So thank you guys for listening or watching, and we'll see you next time on another episode of A Cast
To the
Past.
You really are
There.
cute, Ryan.
Yeah.
You're a solid
no,
five.
you don't
can't make
get
up for now. You lost your chance. Okay?
Yeah, you don't get to
We're
take
done.
that back.
We're done. Good night.
That was
I say
mean.
good day. I say good day.
I say good day.